At a Q&A for the BFI London Film Festival, director Ryan Johnson was keen to note that casting an actor means casting them with their entire filmography in mind, or rather what the audience really knows them for. You trust Chris Evans in Knives Out because he's not just Ransom, he's Captain America. Actors carry all of their films with them, and sometimes the choice to star in one movie might reflect the position or difficulty that may have come from another, as well as the industry machine itself. In David Robert Mitchell's
Under the Silver Lake,
Andrew Garfield plays Sam, a 30-something stoner with overdue rent to pay and a staggering amount of free time on his hands. Sam is surrounded by cool, aloof LA party people. He's friends with creeps and fakers all trying to get ahead of the game. Much like Sam, everyone else he knows is going nowhere real fast. Under the Silver Lake was the movie even A24 didn't know how to market. A despondent stoner mystery that at times feels like a hangout movie as much as it does a horror movie. What was it about this picture that gave them cause for concern? After all, it starred a superhero. Andrew Garfield was once the jewel in Sony's crown, the figurehead of a brewing Spider-Man cinematic universe that would put them alongside Marvel, DC and Universal in the battle to get interconnected Hollywood cash cows off the ground. For a myriad of reasons which had nothing to do with Garfield's ability to portray the character, those plans crashed and burned.
I learned a lot
Yeah.
about what feels good and what doesn't feel good.
I've always wanted to be at Comic-Con in Hall H as Spider-Man.
There's something about being that young in that kind of machinery, which I think is really dangerous.
At one point, Garfield was set to play the wall-crawler for at least 4 solo movies and spin-offs to boot. In the end, he made just 2 underwhelming pictures.
I signed up to serve the story and to serve this incredible character that I've been dressing as since I was 3.
Yeah.
I needed Spidey in my life when I was a kid, and he gave me hope.
It gets compromised and it breaks my heart.
The moment in Under the Silver Lake wherein Garfield tries to pull a Spider-Man comic from his sticky hand wasn't supposedly written for him, but he loved the idea of it. In fact, when asked about it, Garfield said, "I was really adamant we keep it in. I really enjoyed that feeling of something being stuck to you that you'd like to just be able to move on from." You know what I mean? After the Amazing Spider-Man movies, Garfield starred in more challenging fare that was more in line with his earlier projects. He took a shot at Best Actor with Hacksaw Ridge, and even got to work with the likes of Martin Scorsese and Adam Driver. When the time came for Under the Silver Lake, it felt almost like a conscious choice of self-reflection. Not only is Andrew playing a guy ruining his choices in La La Land, the film itself is about as far removed from studio-friendly blockbuster fare as you can get.
That are meant for only them and not for us. I think it's fucking ridiculous to assume that media has just one purpose.
Yeah.
Oh, you think that's weird?
Right off the bat, the inversion of Garfield's commercial superhero image is clear. Rather than playing the cute heartthrob hero type, Garfield's Sam is creepy and voyeuristic. The movie spends swaths of its running time charting Sam's stalking exploits as he tumbles further and further down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole. He's also pretty unlikable. We witness him beat up 2 children for scratching his car at one point, and he doesn't hold back because of their relative size or age. The movie never divulges what Sam does, or rather doesn't do for work. His rent is due, and we see him consistently lie about being able to pay it off. I've seen a compelling argument that he is a paparazzi photographer, explaining his adept abilities tailing people unseen. But I feel like the simplest answer might be the correct one here. Sam is an out-of-work actor. This is because of 2 things. Firstly, the movie is set in 2011. This seems like an unnecessary date for a movie that for all intents and purposes is contemporary. And the other thing? This line.
You ever feel like you fucked up somewhere a long time ago? You're living the wrong life, like a bad version of the life you're supposed to have.
This begs the question, what was Sam's other life? What might have been? Does he dream of a path to success, like his ex-girlfriend who enjoys her face on multiple billboards across the city? Sam is Andrew Garfield in the year of filming The Amazing Spider-Man, the year before it all took a turn, a year before that pathway came to be, except none of that went how it might have. And if you think, well, this Andrew Garfield dodged a bullet not getting to star in those Amazing Spider-Man movies, this is a grass is green on the other side situation, of course, when you're wandering aimlessly in Hollywood without money to keep a roof over your head, a far-flung possibility that you were a blockbuster movie star sounds pretty good, even if those movies turn out to be awful. Oh, and is it a coincidence that his best friend in the movie is Topher Grace, an actor who similarly held a love for the Spider-Man source material but was left shortchanged with a key role in a movie that underwhelmed for reasons beyond his control? Probably. Hollywood isn't what he thought it would be. He's defined his life with the pop culture adorned across his apartment like badges of honour. As he digs deeper into the disappearance of Jefferson Sevenths, his love of this culture is challenged. He adores Kurt Cobain, only to discover that in this version of Hollywood described by Mitchell as mythical, Cobain wasn't responsible for writing his biggest hits. In fact, the ominous songwriter has been creating all the songs that you love at the drop of a hat, without a single care given to any of it.
That's pop culture, isn't it? Floats away like tissue paper, and I blow my nose.
Hollywood's rich elite believe these possessions and fashions are so meaningless that they plan to escape this world altogether through ritualistic suicide.
This isn't a world that anyone with any sense stays in or spends much time worrying about.
Although this ritual involves them staying underground for 6 months, watching TV. TV'd to death. At the same time, it is this very same obsession with cinema, TV, music and more that proves to be Sam's greatest asset as he stumbles into more clues. Let's not forget, the thrust of Sam's journey into mystery all starts with a comic book. Right alongside his copy of The Amazing Spider-Man, Garfield purchases a zine that goes on to become crucial in seeking out the truth. But the ridiculous way in which Sam uses utterly random pieces of pop culture as breadcrumbs on his quest to solve the mystery only further highlights the futility and fleeting joy such things can bring. It is as if at times it is a power fantasy for the collectomaniac obsessives, the movie rewarding their exploits while simultaneously laughing at them, as if anything so trivial could prove to be so useful in the real world. In his unfavourable review of the film, Guardian critic Peter Bradshaw noted that Sam gets to look at an awful lot of beautiful, unclothed women. This seems a bit of a pre-Time's Up sort of film. I think the idea that this movie couldn't exist in a post-Me Too era Hollywood fundamentally misses the point behind Under the Silver Lake's Men. Doing his best Rear Window impression, Sam watches unsuspecting women from his balcony. Topher Grace's character creepily sings Pure Imagination as he uses a drone he bought specifically to perv on women inside their own homes. Watching this model cry is one of the few moments of emotional honesty from anyone in the movie. Both men shrug off her distress, uninterested in anything to do with her beyond her body. These obsessions with objects and stories begin to supersede the respect they have for other human beings. Sam is a bully who beats children and continuously steps up the violence until he dabbles in full-blown murder. Couple this with the fact that the movie wants you to at least ponder the possibility that Sam is also the dog killer, and we're left with a protagonist that's rotten to the core.
What's that smell? Oh, I don't know. I smell it too.
But Sam's view of women and the movie's critique of masculinity come to a crescendo at the resolution of the movie's main thread. Sarah, the girl who had gone missing, who Sam believed to be dead, is trapped underground with billionaire Jefferson Sevenths, of her own accord.
I've been looking for you.
Really? You hardly know me.
As Spider-Man, the big crucial dramatic denouement came in the form of the classic damsel in distress situation. Garfield's wall crawler failed, his love becoming the conduit for his pain and character growth. Here, Garfield's hero was little more than a footnote in this woman's story. She never asked to be saved or investigated, she never thought twice about him.
Do you think I made a mistake? Coming down here?
Maybe.
Well, there's no getting out now, so I may as well make the best of it.
But Riley Keough's Sarah isn't autonomous instead. She lives at the behest of Jefferson Sevenths, one of many rich elites in Hollywood who believe themselves kings that shall ascend to a higher plane of existence. Like the other pharaoh Sam meets, Jefferson manipulated 3 women into giving their lives away, and we know that they often break free of that control when it is all too late.
Incoming calls only. We've had trouble in the past. People getting scared, trying to get out.
And when you take the toxicity of pop culture obsession and couple it with deep-seated misogyny, you might be left with the myth of the American Insel. It probably most accurately depicts the incel power fantasy, sex with beautiful women, all that trivia stored away coming in handy to solve a huge conspiracy only they weren't too blind to see.
Entire generation of men obsessed with video games, secret codes, space aliens.
Garfield likens the character to the lead of Scorsese's Taxi Driver, and indeed Sam's warped view of the world feels similar to Travis Bickle's perspective, albeit in a new digital age. I liked it because it felt like this kind of West Coast slacker Travis Bickle, said Garfield. responding to a really unjust, messed up world and thinking that he was going to be the one to clean up the streets, even though he was totally impotent and powerless. But inside there is that longing. There was that desire to be important, to be valued, to be seen and to do something important. The zine storyline of the failed actor who killed himself details his intense hatred of dogs.
No one will ever be happy here until all the dogs are dead.
We later see, at multiple points in the movie, women barking at Sam. This might suggest that what the actor in the zine is really talking about when he refers to dogs is a fear and hatred of women.
He resented the dog's success and blamed all dogs for his failed life.
The movie never clarifies one way or another, a conclusion you will find if you chase most of the threads in Under the Silver Lake. Mitchell's next project? None other than an original superhero film entitled Heroes and Villains. In terms of the script, Mitchell is the perfect filmmaker to create a deconstructionist superhero movie, given his keen insight into pop culture obsession. I have a feeling that this movie will look to the people who watch superhero movies just as much as the movies themselves when thinking about its message. Surely it seems likely that Garfield will play a role in this movie, given their history of working together as well as the meta-narrative at play, what with the actor's past superhero exploits, and his role in this movie. This will be the chance for Garfield to get some karmic justice for the maligned Amazing Spider-Man movies, which weren't very amazing at all in spite of Garfield's decent performance as the titular wallcrawler. Of course, no casting has been announced yet, so it remains to be seen if Garfield and Mitchell will re-team, but I certainly hope they do.
Well, I don't have any answers.
Who does? Nobody does.
It is a movie that is ultimately impossible to quantify. Every step you take towards trying to decipher its mysteries just brings you one step closer to the kind of pop culture obsessions its main character has been all consumed by.
Used to be, 100 years ago, any moron could kind of wander into the woods and discover some cool new thing, not anymore.
Even this analysis, the idea that it might reflect Garfield's career, a comment on his bittersweet dealings with corporate America, that's all just a silly little theory. The longer you spend looking at Reddit threads, watching videos breaking down the various codes and facets to Under the Silver Lake, you might just become exactly what the movie is commenting on.
Where's the mystery that makes everything worthwhile? We crave mystery because there's none left.
Thank you for watching another full fat video. Don't forget to click that subscribe button and hit the bell if you'd like to see more breakdowns of movies, TV and more. A big thank you to our full fat tier patrons, Dr. Chike, Jax Merrick and Mike Nandu. You the boys. Until next time, keep it full fat.